Introduction. Deep work. We live in a world where everyone is busy, but very few people are actually productive. From the moment we wake up, we check our phones, notifications, messages, emails, social media. Our attention is constantly being pulled in different directions, and slowly, without realizing it, we are losing our ability to focus. This is where the idea of deep work becomes powerful. Deep work means the ability to focus deeply on one important task without distraction. It is the skill of doing meaningful work with full attention. In today's world, this skill is becoming rare, and whenever something is rare, it becomes valuable. People who can focus deeply learn faster, work better, create more value, build successful careers. This video is not about working longer hours. It is about working smarter, with clarity and intention. In this video, you will learn what deep work really is, why focus is disappearing, how distraction is affecting success, how you can train your mind to focus deeply. This is not just about productivity. This is about building a better life. Because in a distracted world, the ability to focus is a superpower. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Deep work is valuable. In the modern world, most people are busy all the time. They answer messages, attend meetings, scroll on their phones, and switch between tasks constantly. But being busy does not mean being valuable. Deep work is the ability to focus deeply on a demanding task without distraction. This ability is becoming very rare today, and that is exactly why it is so valuable. When you work deeply, you can learn difficult skills faster. You can create work of high quality, and you can do things that most people cannot do anymore because they are distracted. Think about it. Two people may work the same number of hours. One person keeps checking their phone, replying to messages, and multitasking. The other person works with full focus on one important task. After a few months, their results will be completely different. The focused person will learn faster, make fewer mistakes, produce better outcomes, and stand out naturally. In today's economy, value comes from two things: the ability to learn hard things quickly and the ability to produce at an elite level. Both of these require deep work. Distraction makes learning slow. Distraction lowers the quality of work. Distraction keeps people average. Deep work does the opposite. It helps you build rare skills, and rare skills are always rewarded with better opportunities, respect, and income. This is why deep work is not just a productivity habit, it is a career skill. As the world becomes more noisy and distracted, the people who can focus will automatically rise above the rest. They won't need to compete loudly. Their work will speak for itself. Chapter 2. Deep work is becoming harder and harder to practice. Not because people don't want to focus, but because everything around us is designed to prevent it. Today's workplaces reward visibility, not depth. If someone replies to emails quickly, attends many meetings, and is always available, they are seen as productive. But this constant availability comes at a cost: loss of concentration. Deep work requires long periods of uninterrupted focus, but most people's days are filled with interruptions: emails, messages, meetings, notifications, social media. Each interruption breaks focus, and once focus is broken, it takes time to rebuild. The culture of shallow work. Shallow work includes tasks that do not require deep thinking, can be done while distracted, do not create much long-term value. Examples include responding to emails, attending unnecessary meetings, updating spreadsheets, scrolling through work chats. These tasks feel productive because they keep us busy, But being busy is not the same as being effective. Many organizations confuse activity with achievement. People are rewarded for how fast they respond, not for how meaningful their work is. As a result, deep work slowly disappears. Technology makes focus unnatural. Instant replies are expected. Silence is misunderstood. Focus is seen as avoidance. When someone ignores messages to concentrate, they are often judged as unresponsive, slow, not cooperative. This creates pressure to stay connected all the time, even when connection is unnecessary. Over time, people stop trying to focus deeply. They adapt to distraction. Why this is dangerous? When deep work disappears, learning becomes slow, creativity drops, work quality declines. People remain average not because they lack talent, but because they lack focus. Deep work is rare not because it is impossible, but because the modern world does not protect it. The hidden opportunity. This is where the opportunity lies. If most people cannot focus deeply, anyone who can gains a massive advantage. While others remain busy, the focused person creates real value. While others multitask, the focused person masters skills. Key lesson of Chapter 2. Deep work is rare because distraction is rewarded, but rarity creates power. Those who choose focus in a distracted world automatically rise above the crowd. Chapter 3. Deep work is meaningful. In the previous chapters, we learned that deep work is valuable and rare. Now comes an even more important idea. Deep work is meaningful. It does not only improve productivity or career success, it also improves how we feel about our work and our life. Work and meaning. Many people feel tired, stressed, and unsatisfied after a full day of work, not because they worked too hard, but because their work lacked depth. When work is shallow, it feels empty. Replying to messages all day, switching between tasks, doing things that don't challenge the mind. At the end of the day, nothing feels complete. Deep work changes this experience completely. Focus creates satisfaction. When you focus deeply on one task, your mind becomes calm, time passes faster, you feel fully involved. This state of deep concentration is often called flow. In this state, work feels meaningful, effort feels rewarding, progress feels real. Human beings are wired to enjoy challenge with focus. When the mind is stretched to solve something difficult, it experiences satisfaction, not stress. Shallow work creates anxiety. Constant distractions create mental fatigue, anxiety, and a sense of incompleteness. When attention is divided, the mind never settles. This constant switching slowly drains energy, even if the tasks are easy. That's why people feel exhausted even after doing nothing important all day. Craftsmanship and pride. When you give full attention to your work, you care about quality, you notice details, you take pride in results. Whether you are writing, designing, studying, coding, or creating content, deep focus turns work into a skill, not just a job, and skill creates dignity. Meaning comes from depth. Meaning does not come from comfort, it comes from engagement. Deep work forces you to be present, it pushes your abilities, it gives your effort a clear direction. That is why people who practice deep work often feel more confident, more fulfilled, more in control. They are not just producing output, they are building something valuable. Key lesson of Chapter 3. A focused life is a meaningful life. Deep work is not just a way to succeed, it is a way to feel proud of how you spend your time. In a distracted world, depth gives life purpose. Chapter 4. Deep work is not a natural skill. Deep work feels difficult for most people, and there's a reason for that. The human brain is not naturally trained for long periods of focus in today's environment. Modern life has rewired our attention. The brain loves distraction. Every notification gives a small dopamine reward. Messages, likes, new content, they make the brain feel good for a moment. Over time, the brain starts craving quick stimulation. As a result, silence feels uncomfortable, focus feels heavy, deep thinking feels tiring. This is not laziness, this is conditioning. Why focus feels painful? When you sit down to do deep work, your brain wants novelty. Your mind looks for escape. Distractions feel tempting. This is because deep work demands mental effort. Just like muscles feel sore during exercise, the brain resists effort when it is not trained. Most people avoid this discomfort and return to shallow tasks. Shallow work becomes a habit. Constant multitasking weakens the brain's ability to concentrate. The more you switch tasks, the weaker your attention becomes, the harder deep focus feels, the shorter your patience gets. Over time, people stop believing they can focus deeply at all. They say, "I can't concentrate. I get bored easily. My mind doesn't stay still." But the truth is simple. Focus is a trainable skill, not a talent. Training the focus muscle. Deep work works like strength training. At first, focus feels exhausting, distraction feels stronger, progress feels slow. But with practice, concentration improves, distractions lose power, focus lasts longer. The brain adapts to what it practices. If you practice distraction, you become distracted. If you practice focus, you become focused. The responsibility of choice. The modern world will not protect your attention. You must protect it yourself. Deep work does not happen accidentally. It requires intentional effort. You must choose to sit with discomfort, to resist easy stimulation, to train your mind patiently. Key lesson of Chapter 4. Deep work is hard because focus is not natural anymore, but anything that can be trained can be mastered. Those who accept this discomfort early build a powerful ability that most people never develop. Chapter 5. Deep work requires intentional structure. Deep work does not happen by accident. Most people wait for motivation, free time, or the right mood to focus. But deep work requires something more powerful than motivation. It requires structure. Why willpower is not enough. Many people believe they can focus when they feel like it, but willpower is limited. After a long day of decisions, messages, and distractions, the mind becomes tired. At that point, focus feels impossible. Discipline feels weak. Distractions feel irresistible. This is why relying only on willpower fails. Deep work needs systems, not emotions. Structure protects focus. Structure means deciding in advance when you will work deeply, where you will work, what you will work on. When these decisions are already made, the mind does not waste energy choosing. Focus becomes easier. Examples of structure: fixed deep work hours, a specific workspace, clear goals before starting. When structure exists, distractions lose power. Rituals make deep work easier. Rituals turn focus into a habit. A ritual can be simple: same time every day, same desk, same music or silence, same start routine. Rituals signal the brain, now it's time to focus. Over time, the brain enters deep work faster. Without rituals, each session feels like a battle. With rituals, focus becomes natural. Environment shapes behavior. Your environment silently controls your attention. If your phone is nearby, your mind thinks about it. If notifications are on, your focus breaks. Deep work requires an environment that removes distractions, encourages stillness, and supports concentration. This is not about self-control, it is about smart design. Scheduling depth. Deep work must be scheduled, not hoped for. Even 1 to 2 hours of deep work per day can multiply productivity, improve learning, and increase confidence. The key is consistency, not duration. Small, regular sessions build powerful focus over time. Key lesson of Chapter 5. Deep work succeeds when it is structured, ritualized, and protected. Focus is not about trying harder. It is about designing your life to support depth. Those who build structure build success quietly and steadily. Chapter 6. The Power of Boredom. Embrace boredom. In the modern world, boredom feels uncomfortable. The moment the mind becomes idle, we reach for our phone. A notification, a scroll, a video, anything to avoid silence. But deep work requires the opposite. It requires the ability to be alone with your thoughts. Why boredom matters. Your brain is constantly being trained. Every time you escape boredom with quick stimulation, you teach your brain that focus is optional. Over time, the brain loses patience. Deep work becomes harder because the mind expects instant rewards. Boredom is not the enemy, it is training for focus. Focus is a skill, not a mood. Many people think, I'll focus when I feel focused. But focus works like a muscle. If you never let your mind sit without stimulation, that muscle weakens. Learning to tolerate boredom strengthens attention. This is why deep thinkers walk without phones, think without music, sit without distraction. They allow the mind to stretch. Constant stimulation destroys depth. Social media, short videos, and notifications train the brain for shallow attention. This creates a dangerous habit. Needing entertainment every minute, losing patience with difficult tasks, avoiding effort that feels slow. Deep work feels painful not because it is hard, but because the brain is overstimulated. Practicing boredom intentionally. To rebuild focus, boredom must be practiced. Simple ways. Don't check your phone while waiting. Take walks without audio. Sit quietly for a few minutes daily. Delay instant gratification. At first, it feels uncomfortable, but slowly the mind becomes calmer. Attention becomes stronger. Separation between work and distraction. Deep workers create clear boundaries. They decide when they will focus deeply and when they will allow distraction. This separation trains discipline. If distractions are always available, focus never fully develops. Key lesson of Chapter 6. Deep work requires training the mind to resist constant stimulation. Boredom is not weakness. Boredom is mental strength. Those who can sit quietly can think deeply, and those who think deeply create extraordinary results. Chapter 7. Quit social media. Drain the shallows. In today's world, social media feels unavoidable. It promises connection, information, and opportunity. But beneath the surface, it quietly steals something far more valuable: your ability to focus deeply. This chapter challenges a popular belief. If a tool has some benefit, we must use it. That belief is dangerous. The problem with the any benefit mindset. Most people justify social media by saying it helps networking, it gives inspiration, it keeps me updated. But this logic is flawed. Almost anything has some benefit. That does not mean it deserves your attention. Deep work requires a stricter standard. The real question is, does this tool significantly support what I value most? If the answer is no, it is a distraction, no matter how popular it is. Social media and attention fragmentation. Social platforms are designed for one purpose: to capture and keep attention. They reward quick reactions, shallow thinking, constant checking. This rewires the brain. Instead of sustained focus, the mind learns jumping between tasks, craving novelty, avoiding mental effort. Over time, deep thinking feels exhausting because the brain has been trained for speed, not depth. Shallow work versus deep work. Social media pulls you towards shallow work, likes, comments, scrolling without purpose. These activities feel productive, but rarely create real value. Deep work, on the other hand, builds rare skills, creates long-term results, compounds over time. The more time spent in shallow activity, the less energy remains for meaningful work. The craftsman approach to tools. Instead of quitting everything blindly, this chapter introduces the craftsman approach. You evaluate tools like a professional. Ask, what are my core goals? Does this tool strongly support those goals? Does its cost outweigh its benefit? If a tool offers minor benefits but major distraction, it must go. Even temporarily quitting is powerful. The 30-day rule. One effective strategy: quit optional social media for 30 days, observe your focus, mood, and productivity, reintroduce only what clearly adds value. Most people discover more time, less anxiety, clearer thinking. What felt necessary before often proves optional. Freedom through focus. Quitting or reducing social media is not punishment, it is freedom. Freedom from constant comparison, mental noise, and fragmented attention. When the mind is no longer scattered, deep work becomes natural again. Key lesson of Chapter 7. To go deep, you must aggressively protect your attention. Not every tool deserves your time. Not every platform deserves your presence. Those who control their attention control their future. Chapter 8. Drain the shallows. Reduce shallow work. Most people believe they are busy. Emails, messages, meetings, updates. The day feels full. But being busy is not the same as being productive. This chapter reveals a hard truth. Shallow work is silently killing deep work. What is shallow work? Shallow work is easy to replicate, low concentration, and low long-term value. Examples: replying to emails, attending unnecessary meetings, administrative tasks, constant switching between apps. These tasks create the illusion of progress, but rarely create real results. Why shallow work takes over? Shallow work feels safe. It gives quick completion, instant feedback, and low mental effort. Deep work feels uncomfortable. It demands intense focus, mental strain, and delayed reward. So the mind naturally escapes into shallow tasks. Without control, shallow work expands and fills the entire day. The busyness trap. Modern culture rewards visible activity. People who respond fast look responsible. People who stay online look committed. But deep work is invisible. The most valuable progress happens quietly, with no notifications, no applause, no instant reward. This is why deep workers must protect their time aggressively. Schedule every minute. One powerful strategy in this chapter is time blocking. Instead of vague plans, you decide in advance when to do deep work, when to do shallow work, when to rest. This does not make life rigid, it makes focus intentional. Even if plans change, the act of scheduling creates awareness. Set shallow work limits. Deep workers do not eliminate shallow work completely, they contain it. Examples: fixed email times, no meeting blocks, clear boundaries with others. When shallow work is limited, deep work finally has space to grow. The importance of saying no. Saying yes to everything means saying no to depth. Every request costs attention. Deep workers learn to decline politely, reduce availability, and protect creative energy. This is not selfish, it is necessary. Measuring deep work. Ask yourself daily, how much time did I spend creating real value? Not how busy you were, not how fast you replied, but how deeply you worked. Progress compounds when deep work becomes a habit. Key lesson of Chapter 8. Deep work requires actively draining shallow work. If you do not control shallow tasks, they will control your life. Those who master their time master their future.
Chapter 9. A Deep Work Life, Putting It All Together. Deep work is not a technique. It is not a hack. It is a way of living. This final chapter explains how to combine everything you've learned into a sustainable, long-term deep work lifestyle. Deep work as a philosophy. Most people treat focus as temporary. They try to concentrate sometimes and accept distraction the rest of the time. Deep workers think differently. They design their life so that focus is normal, distraction is rare, depth is respected. This shift changes everything. The importance of rituals. Willpower is unreliable. Rituals remove the need to decide. Deep workers rely on fixed work hours, defined work locations, clear rules for distraction. When a ritual begins, the mind automatically enters focus mode. No negotiation, no delay. Environment shapes behavior. Your surroundings either support depth or destroy it. Deep workers design environments that reduce temptation, minimize interruptions, encourage concentration. Even small changes matter. Phone out of reach, clean workspace, silent notifications. Focus is easier when distractions are invisible. Energy is more important than time. Working longer does not mean working better. Deep work demands mental energy. This chapter emphasizes proper rest, meaningful breaks, clear shutdown routines. When work ends, it truly ends. This allows the brain to recover and return stronger the next day. The shutdown ritual. Ending the workday intentionally is powerful. A simple routine. Review what you completed, plan tomorrow, mentally release work. This creates clarity and peace. Without closure, the mind stays restless. Measuring a deep work life. Success is not measured by busyness. Ask, did I work deeply today? Did I protect my attention? Did I create something meaningful? Progress in deep work compounds quietly. Weeks become months, months become mastery. Deep work and meaning. The ability to focus deeply is becoming rare, and rare skills are valuable. But beyond success, deep work offers satisfaction, clarity, purpose. When you give your full attention to meaningful work, life feels richer. Final lesson of Chapter 9. A deep work life is built intentionally, one day at a time. Focus is not found, it is created. Those who choose depth will always rise above noise.